Income inequalities will be dramatically exposed as the vulnerable in society face a stark choice.
Oh my God, he's talking about income inequality.
I know.
What is this? Who is this?
I think Vaush will get out of this one. My boy
Look,
Vaush.
he's trying to get out of it. He's like, oh shit, I agree with Sagar.
Well, no, he's like, listen, if I don't move and I say nothing, it's like a T-Rex. It just won't see me. Keep on. The audience won't notice.
He's doing the camouflage thing.
Yes, he's trying to
think fast, Vaush.
What does the chat say? Are they still on with like the Jewish stuff?
Just ignoring it.
Heat or eat. But then Blaine asks a deeper question, and that one brings us to the point of this monologue. Quote, that has...
What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about
Wait,
it?
no, so the chat says people die of cold every year in all chats, which it's a nice thing to say about an energy crisis, but okay, sure.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Subsidize energy, nationalize the energy grid. What do you want to do?
Okay, so he is a little focused on it here. He's saying, okay, how do we solve the problem? Let's nationalize the energy grid. That'll solve it.
Well, how would that solve any? Like Germany's problem is that they just relied on Russian oil, which they can't get at the moment. Like, how's nationalizing going to solve anything?
Then the national company doesn't have supply access.
Right.
Do you think his listeners are going to know anything about how that works?
Of course not. Of course not.
I mean, you're probably right.
Of course not.
What's the solution? Everyone agrees that super high gas prices are a problem. Everyone agrees. Everyone on every side of every aisle. So what do you...
Look at this. He's like...
So what are you going to do? Well, Vaush, why are they so high?
Hold on. The elitists don't give a fuck about high energy prices because they have money. They don't care if the energy prices go up. They have money to pay the higher energy prices.
So what are you going to do? So what? What are you going to do?
But he's trying to say everyone cares. No, the rich don't care.
Well, it's the question is, why is Vaush getting so angry? Is it because he thinks that now he looks stupid to his chat? Or
I think
is it just the populism angle?
Do you think he thinks he looks dumb to his chat? Because his chat seems pretty dumb.
Well, he's worried. You're right. He's worried that he'll look stupid to his chat.
Because he knows he's come to the realization Sagar is not the thing he's made him out to be. He's like, oh shit, Sagar's a fucking populist.
Do you think he's just now watching it for the first time? And
of course he is.
Yeah, he hasn't watched
the video. You're right, dude. That's
Look, he pulled right to the section populist uprising.
He said like, oh, where's the Italian bitch? So obviously someone in his chat was like, oh, you should watch this video of Sagar being a fascist or something. And he just said, oh, I'm going to assume that that's true.
Oh.
But the thing is, I think he's against the Italian bitch. He's basically saying populism can lead to right-wing authoritarianism, a.k.a. fascism, and that's bad. We don't want that.
Right.
That's something we should be afraid of.
By the way, gateway drug arguments, like, when they would go at Rogan about him, he's a gateway.
This
or Ben
is totally
Shapiro's.
a gateway drug argument. That's exactly what it is.
Anybody that knows anything about drugs, I thought the idea of a gateway drug was like a really moronic kind of, people are taking drugs because they took drugs one time and then they were sad they took drugs. They needed to take more drugs to get over those drugs they took. It's such a stupid, the gateway thing to drugs is being in pain. That's what's that people have problems. So they take drugs.
You don't like, but I did. I mean, when I first did drugs, I was like, these are pretty cool. I wonder if there's other drugs I could try.
Wait, okay, yes.
I mean,
hold on, Adam.
I got my bingo card out and I was like, LSD.
Did you say, I wonder what other drugs I was told are bad that are actually totally cool?
Yes. I did that too.
The gateway was lying about the drugs, like making marijuana out to be something that wasn't.
I kind of feel like the gateway was the drugs. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh no, but if marijuana existed and was treated like alcohol, it wouldn't be considered a gateway because you would just be accepted to do it.
Right. Alcohol is the gateway to all the things, by the way. If you're gonna, I don't believe in that gateway shit. The gateway to drugs is like trauma and pain, and drugs work on that to dull the pain. So that's really the gateway. But alcohol, dude. Why would you go?
Does anyone start like day one crystal meth? Day one, I'm shooting up heroin. Like
some people, dude. I mean,
I feel like that does happen.
I know people from the most fucked up backgrounds where they were doing that shit as kids because their parents introduced it to all kinds of shit you cannot believe.
You can't do anything in Southern California now because it's like all these people are dropping dead from fentanyl. So you're like, that's some scary shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
all kinds of social consequences. Can you imagine how those in France will react ahead of the French elections in April? What about the prospects for riots as fuel prices hit the poorest communities and ethnic groups in the UK?
Yeah, Vaush, don't you like riots when things get out of... Don't you like the workers rising up, Vaush? Why perk up a bit here?
Yeah, he's got to really think this through, because that French thing he should be on board with.
Yeah, what happens when fuel prices get out of control, Vaush? Shouldn't people riot in the streets and burn gas stations down? Aren't you promoting that on your channel every other week?
Or in like Denmark, where they're blasting shit on their capital?
Look,
because the farmers are getting run out of business for like these like environmental fake things. So somebody can buy up all the farms and they make it like about climate. It's not.
Vaush has been advocating for a populist uprising for like 3 years now. Why did he think he could turn to a segment called Populist Uprising and not get this kind of shit?
And continues that beyond
the
tragedy of the acute crisis in the winter is the broader social implication across the entire European continent. And I'm beginning to wonder if the energy crisis precipitated by the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the now locked-in policy by the West of its sanctions regime, if Europe is not unintentionally spurring a mass populist uprising for the years to come.
Right. What a phenomenal, gigantic, huge, massive, big IQ take. Russia invades Ukraine, therefore the energy costs skyrocketing as a product of that invasion are Europe gunning for populists. Oh my God. What do you want to do about it? What?
Great job, Vaush. You really, wow, Vaush.
This is like Vaush's take, though. That's what I don't understand. Why is he belittling it as a
I'll tell you why.
Pea-brain take?
This is a take. You see this tactic a lot on, I don't know if the right's ever done it. I see it from the left a lot, specifically with Jordan Peterson, where they'll say, oh, Jordan Peterson's a Nazi. Jordan Peterson wants to kill 10% of the population, blah, 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 blah. And then, you say, well, that's not true. Jordan Peterson talks about income inequality. He says it's very dangerous all the time. He's
very Canadian.
Societies be, exactly. He says this leads to societies being unstable, blah, 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 blah. And their response to all that is, yeah, but what economic policies are Jordan Peterson prescribing? If he's not actually prescribing, some kind of economic policy to fix all these problems, then he really is a secret fascist.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what Vaush is doing. He's like, well, you're not, what do you say? What are you prescribing?
Yeah, you don't get to pick. Look, the only identity you get to pick is going to be your gender. And then what your politics, like you're like, hey, I'm leftist, I'm a something, we'll tell you what you are. Vaush will let you know what you are. You don't get to say.
That's
They're
pretty
take that
authoritarian.
Away. Pick out any gender you want from the box, honey, but you don't. We'll tell you what party you're in, depending on how we feel at the time. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's true and sad and authoritarian. I don't like it.
There should be a bunch of right-wingers that just say, well, we identify as socialists now, just to annoy the bread too.
Like Sagar. Sagar's leading the way as a fascist, identifying as a populist.
Right.
First, let's start in Sweden, which actually is about to enter NATO.
Yes, the recent populist uprising in Sweden, which right here, the headline literally says, campaigning on issues like immigration, religion, crime, and the cost of environmental rules, the Sweden Democrats, a party with neo-Nazi roots, grew its support. So let's hear how that's populist or whatever.
You're seeing a pushback against...
But see, this is what's so weird, is that Vaush just doesn't know what populism is. Because if you read that, like, immigration is one of the biggest issues historically to ever be associated with right-wing populism, like from its origin point.
Yep.
Like I'm pretty sure
also
like the original... Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that the original populist movement in America was founded almost primarily on immigration issues.
Well, they turned it into a race thing. It used to be the wealthy elites wanted high immigration because they wanted to keep job wages down.
Wait, who's the guy? Clarence Darrow? Who's the guy that he ran for? It's not Clarence Darrow.
I know who you're talking about.
They made a movie, Reap the Whirlwind, and the guy was a Democrat, and
the Cowardly Lion character.
So the newspapers back then, same as they are now, it was a bunch of like poor white and black farmers getting together, and that's around the time they started pushing, don't you have white loyalty? Like all the elites at the time, the identity was like, hey, we're all white here, aren't we? Because you can't have all the races getting together and fucking with their money. So that's why the paper, in fact, I think populism was invented by the papers at the time to like, or I could be wrong about that, but I thought it was actually invented as like a term of derision.
I think it was, yeah, I think you're right.
It says right here in the article, the party was founded in 1988 and has roots in the neo-Nazi movement. So it has I think Vaush doesn't
Also, it's
realize.
the New York Times. The New York Times.
Right.
I would not trust a single thing they said about it.
But Sauger is the one that's bringing this up, and I think he's bringing it up to say this is bad. And Vaush is making the argument that Sauger is in favor of this, which is completely opposite.
Sauger, just do the right thing and say those people are bad, and they're the bad people.
I think he does. I think he will.
The Euro consensus. The right-wing party there bagged a historic victory in the latest election the last couple of weeks with a similar uprising against the Euro liberal consensus.
So notice the language being used here. Going against consensus does not mean you're populist, okay? If I go to a Starbucks and I shit into my hand and smear it across the face of the barista, I'm going against the consensus. I'm actually being a daredevil. I'm a martyr.
Look, he does do that, by the way. That is a thing he does.
He does not know what a fucking populist is.
Okay.
What does he mean if he does that? You think he's ever done
maverick. But that doesn't.
Done what?
Wiped his shit in a fucking barista's face at Starbucks.
That's his fantasy.
That's the only way he can come.
Someone sent us a meme, Adam. I sent it to you. I don't know if I'm gonna bring it up, but no, it's what Sauger means. It, I think, if you were being even remotely charitable, you'd understand this. He's not saying that populism means you go against consensus. He's saying that populism is rooted in going against the establishment, going against the institutions that exist, and going. If the institutional narrative in a European country is like, we have to, raise gas prices and we just all have to accept it, and the common people go against it, then you could definitely say that's a populist formation.
Of course. Yeah, that's what Sauger's saying. What's this meme you sent me? It's like Vaush shitting
It's
the bed.
Is Vaush being stationary.
Is this him hiding?
This is, you don't remember that scene?
I don't know what movie this is from.
Well, we'll bring it up and we'll see if...
it's up.
This is Joe the Mig made this. Thank you, the Mig. This is Vaush being stationary so his audience, will walk past him and not notice when he's wrong, when he's proven wrong by Sauger. So you don't remember what movie this is from?
No. What is
It's
it?
from Jurassic Park. It's where he's on the toilet. The guy's on the toilet.
Yeah. And the Velociraptors come by and he's like,
No, it's the T-Rex.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
just the big Velociraptor. Thank you.
The big Vilma Raptor. What?
Velociraptor. Velociraptor.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it's a populist shit. Okay, that doesn't mean that I'm doing a populism right there.
Look, but he doesn't explain what populism is.
I know.
He's just trying to say what Sauger is saying is populism, Vaush. He's saying people can't afford the massive increase in energy prices, and therefore they're going to go out in the streets and George Floyd all over the place.
Oh,
how
so
is that not a fucking
nationalize
populism?
It? So what do you want to do? So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do we do?
They're going to break shit until the gas prices come down, until the elites step in and make some fucking changes.
Well, if you want to help Italy get rid of student debt, I think that's pretty clear.
Well, the reason that they would, exactly. The reason that they would elect some far right authoritarian is because that authoritarian would say, listen, I will break heads until the price of gasoline goes down. And they're like, okay, I like that idea.
Right. Yeah.
On immigration, religion, crime, and environmentalism. The Sweden far-right party promised to loosen environmental regulations to lower the cost of energy prices and made it a centerpiece of their campaign right alongside its social crusade. The signs were also clear in Italy last.
So wait, so how was that populist? Again, so right now, Sauger is literally just saying populism is when the far right wins.
He's literally not saying
wow, the far...
Yeah, he's saying...
Literally, he used literally.
Populism is advocating for policies to help the populace, the lower to middle classes.
Well, it's more than that, though. It's an idea that all the institutions are basically controlled by the elites, and they're all out to get you.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And
I don't think they're out to get you. I think it's depraved indifference more than they're out to get you. They'll be willing to sacrifice you to make sure they're okay.
You're right. And that's why, if you have like a right-wing populism doesn't have to be, but it can turn to fascism, because essentially if everything is corrupted, then you can turn to a strong man to basically say, I will fix everything because you can't trust anyone else.
Right.
And that's
Right.
why the left-wing populism or communism is you have to trust the party. The party is the only person you can trust to fix everything because all the institutions are broken and corrupt.